Good morning, dear kids. Today we are going to start a new lesson, Nassrudin's Aim. It's a very interesting story. I'm sure you're going to love it. But before we start, make sure your textbooks are open and you're holding pencil in your hand to underline the new words. So let's begin. One day, Nassrudin was chatting with his friends. He began to boast, "No one can match my skill in archery. I string the bow, take aim and shoot the arrow. Whoosh! The arrow is sure to hit right on target." Hearing this, one of his friends immediately brought a bow and some arrows. Giving them to Nassrudin, he said, "Here, Nassrudin, take this bow and arrows." Then, pointing towards a target, he said, "Aim at the target and shoot an arrow." So, what's going in the story? Nassrudin, who was chatting or who was talking with his friends, suddenly started to talk about him with excessive pride, like as if he's the only one on this planet Earth with such archery skills. What he said, that when he string the bow and take aim and shoot the arrow, his arrow never missed the target. He is very much skilled at archery. But his friends who knew his truth, what they did, one of them immediately went and bought bow and some arrows and gave them to Nassrudin, and pointing towards a target, they said, "Okay, show your skill to us. Now aim at the target and shoot an arrow." तो कहानी में अब तक क्या हुआ है? एक दिन नसरुद्दीन जो अपने दोस्तों के साथ बातें कर रहा था, अचानक से अपने बारे में बहुत डींगे मारने लगा. डींगे मारना मतलब अपनी बहुत ज़्यादा तारीफ़ें करना कि कोई भी यहाँ पर उसके आर्चरी स्किल यानी तीरंदाजी का जो उसका हुनर है उसको कोई भी मैच नहीं कर सकता. वो कहता है कि मैं धनुष को तानता हूँ और जब मैं निशाना लगाता हूँ यानी तीर छोड़ता हूँ तो तीर कहाँ जाता है? सीधा निशाने पर. और उसकी ये सारी तारीफ़ें सुनकर उसके एक दोस्त ने क्या किया? वो फटाफट गया और उसके लिए तीर और कमान लेकर आया और नसरुद्दीन को वो तीर और कमान देते हुए बोला कि चलो तुम अपना तीरंदाजी का हुनर दिखाओ. और वहाँ पर जो टारगेट उसने दिखाया कि उस पर तुम क्या करोगे? निशाना लगाओ. Nassrudin held the bow in his hands, strung it, aimed at the target and shot an arrow. Woo! The arrow did not hit the target. Instead, it fell down somewhere in the middle. Now what happened? Now Nassrudin has to show his skills. So what he did, he held the bow in his hands and shot an arrow. But what happened? The arrow missed the target. And not just missed, dear child, it did not even reach the target. It fell somewhere in the middle. So now what his friends will do? Yes, they will laugh at him. So, ha 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 ha. His friends started laughing. They said, "Hey Nassrudin, is this your best aim?" His friends started teasing him. क्या नसरुद्दीन यही तुम्हारा सबसे अच्छा सबसे बेहतरीन निशाना है? So now what Nassrudin said? "Oh no, not at all," said Nassrudin, defending himself. "This was not my aim. It was Azad's aim. I just showed you how Azad shoots an arrow. Saying this, Nassrudin picked up another arrow. So now what happened when his friends started making fun of him? Nassrudin defended himself. Defended himself means he was protecting himself from getting humiliated. Okay, when someone makes fun, we feel bad, no? So in the same way, Nassrudin started defending himself, and instead he made fun of his friends. How he made fun of his friends? He said, this is not my aim. I was showing you all how this guy, this friend of mine, Azad, shoots an arrow. And saying this, he picked up another arrow. Once again, he strung the bow, aimed at the target, and shot the arrow. This time, the arrow fell a little further from where it had fallen before. Now, what happened? Again, when he shot an arrow, it also fell somewhere between, but this time it went little further. यानी पहले जहाँ गिरी थी उसकी एरो, उससे थोड़ा सा आगे जाकर उसकी सेकंड एरो गिर जाती है, लेकिन ये एरो भी टारगेट तक नहीं पहुँचती. But it certainly did not hit the target. They asked Nassrudin, and this time must be how you shoot an arrow. उसके फ्रेंड्स कहते हैं कि इस बार तो तुमने अपनी तरह ही एरो चलाया होगा ना, तो अब क्या हुआ? Now Nassrudin again argued. Of course not, argued Nassrudin. Even this aim was not mine. It was the chief guard's aim. Now somebody remarked, well, now who's next on the list? Now when Nassrudin missed the target second time, dear kids, whose name he took? What he said? He said, I was showing you all how chief guard shots an arrow. Now at this, one of his friends said, well, now who is next on the list? यानी अब तुम किसकी तरह हमें एरो शूट करके दिखाने वाले हो? Hearing this, all the friends burst out laughing. Nassrudin did not say a word. He quietly picked up one more arrow and again, and this time Nassrudin was really lucky. The arrow hit right on the target. So when the third time he picked up the arrow and shot at the target, what happened? The arrow hit right on the target. But it was not his skill. It's been clearly mentioned here that he was lucky this time. That by luck it happened that the arrow shot at the target. Everybody stared at Nassrudin, their mouths agape in amazement. That means everybody was staring at Nassrudin. They were staring in amazement. Amazement means surprise. Why they were surprised? They were surprised because finally Nassrudin hit at the target. So they were surprised and their mouths agape. Agape means mouth was open. Their mouth was open in surprise. Before anyone could say anything, Nassrudin said triumphantly, did you see that? It was my aim. So, इससे पहले कि कोई कुछ कहता, अपनी जीत का घमंड करते हुए, यानी triumphantly, what Nassrudin said? He said, did you see that? It was my aim. Dear kids, this was the story Nassrudin's aim. But as the story says that Nassrudin hit the target by luck only. Okay. So, but I would like to tell you a very short story from our Hindu mythology. Who has been the greatest archer in our Hindu mythology? Yes, Arjuna from Mahabharata. So Arjuna, when he was practicing archery, one day Guru Dronacharya, who was Guru Dronacharya, he was Arjun's teacher who was teaching him archery. So he had a model of a bird. He placed it at a far distance, and he started calling his students one by one. And what he said that you are supposed to hit your arrow or shot your arrow at bird's eye. So he called his students one by one, and he asked, what do you see? So some said that I can see the bird, some said I can see the cloud in the background and the bird, some said a tree and this bird. So everybody told this thing or other. But when Dronacharya asked Arjun that, Arjun, what do you see? He said, Guruji, I only see bird's eye. What can I see? I can only see bird's eye where I have to shot an arrow. So Guru Dronacharya was very impressed by him, and he ordered him to shot an arrow. And what happened? When he shot an arrow, it directly hit the bird's eye. So Arjuna from Mahabharata, according to Hindu mythology, is one of the greatest archer. So dear kids, what we come to know from this short story about Arjuna that I just told you, that concentration, right? All other were seeing, distractions like tree, clouds and all other things. But it was only Arjuna who was paying full concentration that he can see only bird's eye. So concentration is key to success in life. Goodbye for now.